Hello. So today I actually have a puzzle showcase for you. So just to remind you, I have several kinds of videos, and usually I do live solves. But with showcases, it's when it's a puzzle that I've already solved and figured out the path for, but I thought it was a good enough puzzle that I thought it was worth presenting on the channel anyway. And so it would be obviously disingenuous to do it as a live solve, because a live solve should mean it's the first time I've seen the puzzle. And so I do it as a showcase, which is, hey, try this puzzle out, and if you get stuck or you just want to see me solve it and see why I think it's awesome, then watch my solve. So in this case, I have Checkered Flag by Audrin, and I attempted to do this as a live solve, and unfortunately I didn't get a good path live. It took me a while to get there, and I wasn't happy with how I finished off the puzzle, so I decided not to post the live solve, and instead I played around with it more and figured out the proper way to solve it with given more time, and decided to do a showcase instead. So it should be a much shorter video than what the live solve would have been, which is good, and we won't have to do any fast forwarding. And so this will just kind of walk you through how to solve it, and I think it's really cool. And also, this puzzle kind of ties in with where we're going next with the Learn to Love Sudoku series, so this is going to be a really good tie-in. Okay, so what is this puzzle? Well, it's a classic Sudoku, that's it. Haven't had one of those in a while. I believe I did do one by Philip Newman as a live solve a while ago, and it had a gazillion X-Wings in it. I think it was called It's a Trap, and I think that one actually was very popular. So this one you'll find has some similarities. I think that generally if you're going to feature a classic Sudoku, it's going to have more than just, hey, there's some triples, right? So you're in for a treat here. And before I give anything else away, go ahead and check the link below for the puzzle if you want to try it yourself. And if you get stuck or you just want to watch my solve, I'm going to get started now. So, what do we do to start? Well, I think that starting this puzzle is really difficult because even if you look for things, you're not going to find very many even things to pencil mark. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go a little bit against the grain. I'm going to pencil mark everywhere that a 1 can go, regardless of how many in the box there can be. So I'm going to be doing this a lot, this puzzle. So we have 1s here, and I'm just going to go through this quickly. So we have 1s in these 3, and you can see that we actually are limited to just 2 or 3 within a box. So that's it. That's where 1s can go. And if you look carefully, on rows 2, 4. Oh, I missed a box. I missed the center box. I'm sorry. It's these 2 here. So let me highlight where 1s can go in row 2. I'm going to highlight where 1s can go in row 4 and row 7. So you can see these kind of line up. And if you were kind of a virtual 1 in these cells, then you'd kind of see that we'd have within the rows, we've limited 1s to the same 3 cells in 3 rows. So if you haven't seen this pattern before, it's called a swordfish. It's like an X-wing, but with 3 rows and 3 columns instead of like an X-wing, which is 2 rows and 2 columns. But it works exactly the same way. So I'm going to go over this once carefully because, and in fact, I'm going to highlight these green just for consistency. We're going to be seeing a lot more of these. I think we're going to find that this puzzle is a aquarium tank full of swordfishes. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So what is a swordfish and how does it work? Well, if you think about the final puzzle, like once we have all the numbers filled in, there's going to be a 1 in row 2, exactly 1, 1. There's going to be exactly 1, 1 in row 4. There's going to be exactly 1, 1 in row 7. And we've narrowed down within those rows that it must be in column 1, column 5, or column 9 in all 3 of these rows. So as soon as I put a 1, say the 1 ends up here in column 5, row 2, then now these no longer can be 1s, right? But we still need to have 1s. So let me color those red now. Sorry, I won't use red and green. I'll use blue. So now ones can't be in these two. And so now I have to pick somewhere in row two, sorry, in this second of the swordfish rows, but it's actually row 4. I have to pick somewhere in row 4 for a 1. And even pretending that this could have been 1, it's going to be one of these two. And then in row 7, it's going to be one of these two. And that actually is an X-wing, kind of. I've created an X-wing by placing a 1 in one of these rows. And so then the 1's going to be here and here, or the 1's going to be in here. And so let's say I pick the 1 here, which in this case it's forced there. Then now the 1 can't be here in row 7, and so it's forced here. And no matter how we arrange that, if you kind of think about it, we can never put, we have 3 1s and 3 rows, and we have 3 slots for them. So all 3 slots in some way are going to end up used by a 1. So what does that mean? That means that I can't put a 1 in any of the other cells for those columns. And the reason it's the columns is because we found that for the rows, there were 3 columns that those rows could be in. There were 3 cells in each row that line up, that are in the same columns. And so because we found the swordfish using the rows, it affects the columns. And if we think about it, if I were to put a 1 here, which according to our marks, we could put a 1 here. But if I do that, then now none of these can be a 1. And so now I have 3 1s to put in 2 columns. So 3 rows have only 2 columns of choice for 1s. So no matter how I do that, one of the rows is going to end up with no 1s possible in it. Like that and that. Well, now this row doesn't have a 1, etc. So take what time you need to kind of understand that. But that's the concept of the swordfish, and we're going to see that over and over again in this puzzle. So what that means is any cell I've painted blue here can't be a 1. So I'm going to remove the 1 corner mark from any blue cell that I had originally put a corner mark into. Okay, so now normally I'd clear this out, but actually I'm going to leave the colors in because we're going to get the exact same swordfish on 3s, but I am going to fill out where 3s can go just to prove that. So here we've got 3s in these. Here 3s can go in these 3. This box has a 3 already. 3 here goes in these 3. 3 here goes in these 3. And then the 3 here can't go in these, right? So it goes in these 3. So I believe I covered all of the boxes there. So now, if we look at the exact same rows, you'll see that I only have 3s in the greens, or no 3, right? It's similar to how we had the 1s. So we have the exact same swordfish on 3s. It's the same rows, same columns, which I think is pretty neat. And so that means for all the blue cells we can remove our 3 corner marks. So just to go over that again, this row here, the only place I can put a 3 is these 2 cells. In this row here, 3 can only go in these 2 cells. And in this row here, 3 can only go in these 2 cells. So it's slightly different than the 1s, but if I create my swordfish pattern, it's the same 3 columns on those same 3 rows. So anywhere I have a blue, I can just remove a 3 corner mark. Okay. And so now I actually am going to clear out the highlighting here. There isn't a 3rd swordfish on those highlights. Okay, so now what we can see is that in some of these boxes, like here and here, and here, we've actually limited both 1 and 3 to the same 2 cells. And when we've done that, we've done something more powerful than a corner mark. We've actually can center mark those. We found a hidden pair. So in all 3 of these boxes, there's a hidden 1-3 pair, which is revealed by having those corner marks filled in, and in those boxes having reduced the corner marks that are from the swordfishes, the 2 swordfishes that we found. So I can remove those corner marks and make these hidden singles. And just to kind of go over that, if I were to put anything other than a 1 or a 3 in this cell, say I put a 4 here, then this cell needs to be both a 1 and a 3, and that's not possible. So I've already broken the puzzle. Like, I can put a 1 in here, but then where does the 3 go? Or I can put a 3 in here, but then where does the 1 go? So when we've reduced those corner marks, let me just get rid of those corner marks again, to the exact, so we've reduced 2 corner marks to exactly 2 cells. That's a hidden pair. If we reduce 3 corner marks to exactly 3 cells in a box, then that's a hidden triple, etc. I'm going to point out a couple more hidden pairs. So these 2s look into this box and at this. So I could corner mark 2s here, but again, we get the same pattern. So we get a 2-3 hidden pair. And then also here, these 2 2s look in. And again, we can corner mark 2s here, but again, that makes a 1-2 hidden pair. And so if you thought we were done with swordfishes, not even close. So now I'm going to do 9s. So I'm going to mark, you know the drill, I'm going to mark everywhere that a 9 can go in every box. And the reason, so far with the 1s and the 3s and the 9s, because we have these interesting checkerboard patterns, it kind of hints to you that we're going to be looking for these fishes, right? We have this checkerboard where, you know, within a given row, 3 of the slots are taken by numbers that aren't like the 3 in this column, right? So we have a 1, 2, 3 in this column and an 8, 9, 7 in this row. And then we have the same 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, right? So the 1 and the 3 are in these columns that happen to hit cells that aren't occupied by these guys, these 8, 9s plus some other non-1, 2, 3 in these rows. And so then, you know, the row only has 9 cells, right? So 3 of them are occupied by, and it's the same 3, are occupied by not 1, 3. And then we also have the 1, 3 looking in to these 3. And so it's just natural that all 3 of these, right? So the 1, 3 in these columns all look at those. So it's only natural that we'd have 3 cells left in 3 rows for the 1 and the 3, right? So now, similarly, we have these 9s. So we can actually look at these 3 rows and see how the 9s are eliminated from 3 more cells in those rows. And so we are going to get, like, I could mark this right now. We are going to get this swordfish on 9s, just like that. So I'm just going to mark that green, and then we'll see that happen as I mark 9s in all the boxes. I want the 9s marked anyway, because I need some way to remember which 9s are no longer possible, because there's no way I'm keeping all of these highlights straight and what they mean for the whole puzzle. So at some point, certainly in solves where you don't know ahead of time where you're looking for everything, you're probably going to end up just doing full candidates on the puzzle. But I think it's good to stick as long as possible without doing full candidates so that you don't overwhelm yourself. And it actually can make these a bit easier to spot. And so now, just as predicted in these 3 rows, if you look at the greens, the 9s are only on the greens. Right, so we have another swordfish, and this time on 9. So I can draw, we did it on the rows, right? So I can draw in the columns, I can make those blue to represent that those can't be 9. And so now any blue cell that has a 9 corner mark, I can remove the 9 corner mark from. All right, so that is another swordfish. We still haven't actually gotten any digits, but that's okay. We found a lot of fishes, right? So again, we're visiting the aquarium. So speaking of not getting any digits, how about we look at another swordfish instead? So I'm going to do 6s now. So in this box, 6s, and we have 4 6s. Right? We have 3 6s? We have 3 6s, sorry. I got a little confused, but having 3 of them means that it could be worth checking. Like some of these where we only have 2, probably not at least immediately finding any kind of X-wing or swordfish, especially with the way they line up. But the 6s we're going to look at. So here, especially these 2, like we could have probably already marked at the beginning that 6 goes in one of these 2. So let's just be systematic though. So box 2, 6s are in one of these 3. In box 3, we've got a lot of choices for 6. Box 4, we only have 2 choices for 6. In box 5, this 1, 2 actually prevents 6 from being there. So we actually only have these 3 for 6. And this box, literally every open cell can be a 6. No, there are no 6s looking in. So you're probably asking, how the heck are we getting a swordfish? Well, just wait. And that's it. So this box, the boxes 7 and 8 already have 6s in them, and we already did box 9. So I want you to look at this for a quick sec, see if you can spot the swordfish on 6s, just as a little exercise. You can pause the video if you want, and in 3 seconds, I will show you where it is. So 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's look at this row. In this row, we only have 2 spots for a 6. That's just natural because of these 6s here. This row here has 3 spots for a 6, and 2 of them line up, so that's a good one. And in this row, we also have those same 3 spots. So again, if I fill in this virtual one green, it's much easier to see that now we have a swordfish on 6s. So we can just, you know the drill, we found it on rows, so we can highlight columns. And so now any blue cell that has a 6 in it, I can remove the 6. Alrighty, so still doesn't actually give us anything with 6s, but probably at this point, if you were doing your own solve, you probably had a few more candidates filled. But let's look at this cell here. So it can't be 1, 2, or 3 because of these cells here. Can't be 4, can't be 5. Let me just highlight this purple real quick. Can't be 5. It can't be 6 because that with the swordfish we just found, which was here, eliminated a 6 from that cell just now. Can be 7, so let's just mark a 7 here. Can't be 8, and it can't be 9 because we have these corner marked 9s in here. And so actually it is just 7. This cell is a naked single 7. And if we look here, actually, we did get 6 9s in these, so we found a hidden pair here. And so now the final 2 cells are also going to be a pair. They're going to be a 4, 5 pair. So that's good, always good to mark pairs. But let's look at this cell now. It's going to have the exact same thing, 1, 2, 3. So let me highlight that purple. So we can't be 1, 2, or 3. We can't be 4, 5. We can't be 6 because of the 6 here. I was going to say it was the swordfish, but it wasn't. We can be 7, we can't be 8, and we can't be 9 because we have 9's corner marked from our earlier swordfish. So this is also a 7. And these 7s look into this box, and this 7 looks in, and we actually get another hidden single 7. So now that we have those 7s, I would be remiss to not corner mark 7s there because it's down to 2. All right, so next I'm going to point out a couple pairs, so and some additional corner marks. So these 8s look into here, so that gives us 8s here, and that actually gives us a hidden 8-9 pair here, which means that this is going to be a 5-7 pair. And now we've actually lined up these 5s in boxes 1 and 2. They're both in row 2 and 3. So the 5s in box 3 have to be in row 1. And we have this 5 here, so the 5s are up here. But really what I want to do is look at 7s again. So we already have them marked, but let's take a close look. Actually, we don't have all of the 7s marked. So let's finish those off. So here, 7s go in any of these 4. In this box, we have a 7. So I think in box 3, we haven't marked 7s yet. So 7s go in one of these 3. And then in this box here, 7 can't go where the 1, 3 is, and it can't go here. So there we have 7s in these 4. So now if you look closely at row 3 and row 8, where can 7s go? And we do have this box marked as here and here. These are 7s, these 2 cells. So in these 2 rows, 7s can only go in 2 spots. And so this is actually an X-wing, not a swordfish. So is it different? So in these 2 rows, 7's limited to 2 places, which means that for the columns, we can eliminate any 7s. So we can get rid of that 7 corner mark, that 7 corner mark, and that 7 corner mark. And so now something that I want to sort of make clear is that because we've fully corner marked every, other than 5s, maybe I shouldn't have put the 2 5s in there, but other than 5s, we've fully corner marked every box that has corner mark numbers present. So we haven't corner marked the 2s or the 5s, possibly a couple more. But what's important is that if we see corner marks, and actually maybe I should get rid of the 5s just to kind of drive home that point. We'll remember the 5s have to go there. But every corner mark that I have here is the only place that those numbers can go in the whole puzzle. And so with that in mind, and it's especially true of these 3 boxes, it's true of all the boxes, but if we look at this column here, we have fully corner marked 6, 7, and 9. And so if you look, we actually kind of stand out that we got a 6, 7, 9 hidden triple. So it's very similar to how we were getting the pairs, like here and here, where we line up our corner marks within a box. But here we're lining up the corner marks in the column. That only works if for those numbers, for digits 6, 7, and 9, we have fully corner marked that column. And that's true. And it's hard to retroactively go back and look and see, okay, why can't 7 go here? Why can't 7 go, why can't 6 go here? And it all comes down to all of those different swordfishes and X-wings that we found. But if we trust our corner marks, this is a 6, 7, 9 triple. And this can't be 7, and this can't be 9. And I'll keep the corner marks in just so we don't get confused with our other corner marks. But this is a 6, 7, 9 hidden triple. So now with that, one of the numbers we haven't fully corner marked yet is 8, and it is high time we did so. So let's do 8s. So we have the 8s here. We don't need to corner mark that. In box 3, 8 now can't go where this 6, 7 is. And so it's in these 4. In box 5, 8s can only go in these 2. And this is not a hidden pair. Even though it lines up with these 6s, there's an extra 6 corner marked up here. So be very careful about that. We'd have to have another digit corner marked in just these 3 in order to make it a triple. And of course it is a triple, so we could just fill that because the digit we don't have here at all is 4. So we could make this a 4, 6, 8 and then say this can't be 8. I'm not seeing anything that any 4s looking in. I think this is our only, we have these 2 given 4s and they don't at all see the center box. So we can get rid of these corner marks and just put that as the 4, 6, 8 triple. But anyway, we were doing 8s. So in this box here, we have the 8s looking here. So 8s can be in these 4. And remember, it can't be in this one anymore because of our triple that we found. We have just one 8 looking into here, so we can mark these 8s. And then this 8 looks down here. There aren't any other 8s, so it's these 5. And then this box is everywhere except for the 6, 7, 9 triple that we found, and the 1, 3 hidden pairs, obviously. So 8 can go like that. So, do you see the swordfish? Let's play that game again. Take a second to pause. And now I will show you. So in this row, where can 8 go? Just here and here. Make that green. In this row, 8 can go in 2 that line up with it and this third one. So now we just have to find one more row that's limited like that, and here it is. So we can fill in our virtual cells here to make it a good swordfish, and we can just double check. We don't have any 8's corner marked. Obviously these can't be 8 because of the 8 in the box. This can be 8, this can be 8, and this can no longer be 8 because of the 6. It's exactly where our 6, 7, 9 triple lined up. It's those exact rows that previously could have 8's there, now cannot have 8's there. And so that forces this swordfish. And so now I can highlight all of these blue. Ta-da, like that. And anywhere that's blue that has an 8 no longer can have 8. So just be careful that we get all of them here. And there we go. So now we have applied that swordfish on 8's. Get rid of that highlighting. All right, so now we are going to fully corner mark 5's. And we're almost done, but our corner marks are almost full center marks at this point, but we don't have 2's. So let's actually think. We have 1's corner marked. We don't have 2's corner marked. We have 3's. We don't have 4's. We're about to do 5's. We have 6's, 7's, 8's, and 9's. So we're missing, what was that, 2, 4, and we're about to do 5. So we can't quite say that everything's corner marked, but we're close. So let's take a look at 5's. So 5 here, if you remember, we had done this earlier, I think. So these 5's line up. So 5 can actually only be in these 2 cells because we do have this 5 here. And here in this box, 5's look like that. And this was part of the 6, 7, 9 triple. So now 5's are actually limited to here. So we have these lined up now. And so it prevents 5's in the rest of this row, which is actually pretty useful. Let's go back to, so we did box 1, box 2, box 3. Let's do box 4. 5 looks here, but also these 2 5's, they look here. So 5 is actually limited to these 2 down here. We have box 5 done because it has a given 5. Box 6 was these 2. So now box 7 is going to be just this 5 looking in, I believe. So it can be any of these 4. And then we have these 2 5's looking into box 7. So 5's can go any of those. And then we already have a 5 on box 9. So, you want to play this game again? It's a little bit hard to see. I'm actually going to highlight where we have 5's corner marked. Because there's just way too many corner marks at this point to be able to efficiently call these out. So green is where 5's are. So do you see what I'm looking for here? To give you a hint, it's an X-wing, not a swordfish. To give you another hint, it's our first one on columns instead of rows. Yay. It's here. Here is our X-wing, and my colors are a bit reversed, but that's okay. You know what? I'll mark everything that's not part of the X-wing blue, because those are the ones that are going to get affected anyway. So we have this X-wing, and the X-wing's on columns, which means for their rows, we're eliminating values. So on the ones that aren't these rows, we're gonna get rid of our highlight here. And so this actually just removes 2 5's. Boom, like that. And I can get rid of these highlights. It would have removed 5's from up here, but actually these were the only 2 5's in the row as well that could be 5. Okay, so now, if you remember, for every number we have corner marked, that is everywhere in those boxes they can go. So we can also say that within a row, and in this case we're going to do row 9, that is everywhere the digits that are present, that's everywhere those digits can be. And if we focus on 5, 7, and 9, you can see that we actually have a triple in these 3 columns now. And the X-wing on 5's that we found, if you remember, it eliminated 5's from these 2, so that revealed this triple. So what that means is that I can, and if you look, there's no more 5, 7's, or 9's in any of these other cells. So this is a 5, 7, 9 hidden triple. This one can't be 9. This can be all 3, and this one can't be 5. And if you look, we actually have 8s corner marked on all 3 of those cells, but because they're 5, 7, or 9, they're obviously not 8. So I can remove 8 from those 3 cells. Now if you look, I only have one cell that can be 8 in the entire row. So that's a hidden single 8. So I place that 8, and that eliminates 8s from the rest of the box and also from the column. I think at this point, it might be fruitful just to fully, let's just convert all our corner marks to center marks, and that'll just make it a lot easier to just finish off this puzzle. So I'm just gonna snap my fingers and we'll have center marks. All right, now so through the magic of editing, we have full center marks. And all I did here was I went and corner marked everywhere 2s and 4s could go. So like I saw, okay, 4 looks into here, and we already had, and the 4s look here, so I corner marked the 4s, and this was already a 6, 7 from the hidden triple, so I made sure not to corner mark that as a 4. And then I did the same with 2s in every box, and then now we had every single value corner marked, and so I could safely go through and convert all the corner marks to center marks, and then I got rid of the corner marks. So this is much cleaner to look at. And a few things pop out when we do that. First of all, we have this 1, 2, 3 triple in row 1. So this can't be 2 and this can't be 2. So this is a naked single 5. So that removes 5 from here and from here. And we also have a 2, 7 pair in column 8. And so this can't be 2, this can't be 2, and this can't be 7. So this is a naked single 9. So now this can't be 9, this can't be 9, and if we look left, that can't be 9. That leaves a 5, 7 pair. And of course this 8 here, I should never have had an 8 center marked there. That's my mistake. But this 9 that we placed looks in here, and now there's only one place for a 9 in this box. So that 9 makes this a 6 and a 9. The 6 does eliminate 6 from here. And if you look, we actually have a hidden single 8 now in this column, so that's an 8. And so this is no longer an 8, this is a 4, 6 pair, so this is not 4, this is not 4, so that makes this 5 and 4. This is no longer 4, this is no longer 4. So now in this box, this is a hidden single 4. This is a 2, 3, 1. And at this point, there's just a lot to do, but I will keep on solving. So now we have 4 and 3, 1. That column's done. We should be able to, yeah, this 5 places the 7 and the 5. This is a 4, 6, 9, 5, 3. Box is done. This is a 1. We have this 6, so this is 4 and 6. The 6 sees the 8. This should be fillable innable. Yes, it's a 4. 6, 9, 5. And then this 9. Oh, the 9's not seeing anything. What am I talking about? This 8 sees up here. This is 6, 8, 9, 8. Yeah, those 7's here, so this is 4 and 5. This is not 4 or 1, so this is 2, 7, 8, 6, 2, and this just completely fell apart. All it took was a swordfish on almost every number. But yeah, this was a really cool puzzle. I thought it was put together really well, and just the fact that you needed a whole slew of swordfishes, which revealed a hidden triple, which revealed more swordfishes, which revealed another hidden triple. It was just crazy. So you imagine I had some trouble live solving it, but I hope you didn't have, I hope you enjoyed yourself solving it. And I hope it didn't frustrate you too much. And maybe you learned something from this and how to, it's sort of a master class on how to spot swordfishes. I think I called it an aquarium earlier, and I think that's pretty accurate. There are also some X-wings flying around for whatever reason. I I mean, I think it's just a happenstance of who named what, but I'm kind of disappointed that the X-Wing isn't also a fish. Because I like to call them fishes, but the X-Wing isn't really a fish. I guess it swims through space, but that's a bit of a stretch. I'm not actually sure where the names... I know where X-Wing comes from, because it's like kind of makes an X between the two possibilities, but I don't know where swordfish and jellyfish actually come from. Maybe someone could tell me. Or I could look it up, but where's the fun in that? So yeah, thanks Lucy for the puzzle and allowing me to do a showcase on it instead of a live solve. And if you check the description below, Lucy does have a website where she, I think I looked and she's actually selling a PDF of Sudokus that she created. So if you want to get a nice pack of very good Sudokus, probably could be worth the money to buy that PDF. I know she has other stuff on her store there, so go ahead and check that out. And other than that, I'll be back later with more lessons, more live solves. Hopefully I'll do an actual live solve next time instead of another showcase, but we'll see how things go. Maybe I'll pick an easier puzzle for next time. And until next time, thanks for watching.